fire it up.
Good. Now we can dish it out to some other people instead of having it dished out to
Talk about yourself.
Nick.
uh,
Nick, I'm going to fall asleep during this broadcast.
I'll forever be remembered for that.
and welcome everyone to the Mechanics Institute on this Thursday night for rounds 1 and 2 of the Thursday night marathon. I'm Abel Talamantes, chess director at the Mechanics Institute. And joining me as always is 3-time U.S. champion Grandmaster Nick DeFermian and FIDE Master Paul Whitehead. And we are looking at board 1, which is our many times over champion, Grandmaster Gadir Guseyanov, taken on Akshaj Pulajala. And how's it going?
All right, look at this guy. Whoever Gadir is playing has a better position than most of the masters do, you know, when they play Gadir.
Except
for he's down.
I was going to say, he looks like he's down material, but even that's still better than some of the other games.
Paul, I usually ask, how are we with the pawns? But here I ask, how are we with the pieces?
Right.
Well,
got that advantage. And the game...
This is not good.
And the game started at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, so we're a half hour in. The second round scheduled to start at about 8 p.m. Pacific time. But, yeah.
LOL, the awesome dude is getting murdered here by a grandmaster.
Not so awesome, but he outrates him by about 1,100 points.
And he's a bishop up.
He's a bishop up, so Gadir's going to look to play a positional game now. Look to trade down material.
Yeah, this game is completely over.
Who's on board 2?
That is International Master Balachandra Dulipala taking on Marina Xiao.
Oh, well, this game is more interesting.
Yeah, this is... All right, so we're always rooting for the underdog here.
And it's been fun to see Marina develop, especially through our online games. And Marina's rated 1398, but she's a scholastic player, rising up and getting a lot of good reps through the Mechanics Institute online.
Unfortunately, she's 2 pawns down and not doing too well in this game.
I'm trying to find a bailout for her, but it's just 1 pawn down maybe, but 2 pawns.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
And I'm
He's
trying
on
to
board 3.
I'm trying to pull up Mike Walder's game. I'm trying to do that.
These first round games have a lot of rating imbalances, so
yeah, especially we have this 8-round event with some strong players at the top, but because of that, you're going to have huge rating imbalances. This is where the underdog gets their shot, and the stronger players are keeping them at bay, at least through the first couple of boards. And here's board 3. Mike Walder with Paul Krasnowski, who is a student, I believe, of women's grandmaster Carla Heredia.
Oh.
And I think he's drawn with Elliot previously in one of our events.
Oh, a talented player.
Yeah, he can play. I remember Carla was mentioning that to me. Oh, he's one of my students, and yeah, he drew with Elliot. I'm like, oh, Krasnowski. It's like, yeah. So they've been doing lessons online.
So, Abel, because of the pandemic, we haven't seen so many people live. But, Carla, who quite fond of Can you give us news of her?
Yeah, so she's in the Bay Area. She was in Ecuador for quite some time. She's back in the Bay Area with her mom, and she was actually going to play the San Jose Chess Club 2-day FIDE event they had last weekend. But all of a sudden, she found out that Ecuador was going to be holding online qualifiers for the Olympiad team. So she's trying to qualify to represent Ecuador on the women's team. So she had to pull out of that event. But she's around. And Judith is in the chat saying she just qualified for the Olympiad.
Oh, very
So
cool.
congratulations
All right,
to
Carla.
Congratulations to Carla. So she'll be representing Ecuador via the Bay Area. So good for her. And what do you think of this game here?
Well, Nick, this just shows you how my brain is operating today. So, my first thought was to get rid of this dangerous pawn on d3 by playing rook c3, and I really was giving it a lot of serious consideration. And then I noticed finally that black
The bishop.
So
Yeah, it's a
don't
decent
expect
move.
a lot from me today.
Yeah, sometimes they're just not focused.
But we have novices, so it's good to test them out to make sure they see what they should be seeing. The bishops move diagonally, and so rook c3 would not be good.
Well, today I'm trying to remember how the horsey moves.
So let's, speaking of, we were talking about Kalyn Melville earlier. Let's flip to his game. He is.
I just have to say, in that previous game, that was a nice move by White. We'll get back from that. You know, you're low rated against a really strong player like Mike Walder. That a4 is a very tricky move. So. Oh, Kalyn with the white side.
Yep.
And he's
Lost a pawn and has a bad position to boot.
but their ratings are about even here, aren't they?
The USCF rating, they're sort of even on chess.com, but Kalyn's USCF rating is 1940. We know that, but his opponent's is 1350. But I know his opponent has been playing online, so this might be one of those cases where he was playing for a year and a half online and probably got a little bit stronger than his rating suggests.
Well, Kalyn is in serious trouble here.
Well, here we have the underdog, a pawn up with a better position. We know Kalyn's a very good player, but he's suffering badly. So this game will be of interest as we go on.
So we'll keep an eye on this one. And oh, look at this! I'm seeing an extra rated game here. Let me go to this. And we have our chief tournament director, Judith Stare, with the black pieces against Cleveland Lee.
Cleveland.
Now, Judith, you are a pawn up. We're a pawn up, and we're always rooting for you. At some.
However,
she's
down a piece.
down a piece.
Yeah, that's the bad news.
But you are a
we're
pawn up.
rooting for you.
You are a pawn up. He's just down a piece. So we're
Still, you never can tell what's going to happen here.
wow. Look at this end game here in the game between Aaron
It's
Nikoski.
an en passant capture, apparently.
Aaron Nikoski and Austin Jin. And
Fascinating game. Materials even.
And now, does it mean anything that White has that passed pawn? Because how do you make progress?
Means a lot, Abel. Yeah.
That plus the color complex, the black bishop being on the same color as the pawns,
A
be a
little
decisive
simpler,
Yeah.
advantage for white.
a little simpler would have been taking en passant, maybe, and then playing king d4.
Oh, I see. She missed a en passant. I see it in the chat now.
Oh, but this still looks tremendous.
It was funny, in a scholastic class I was teaching, I was showing, all right, we have, Egan. We have a subscriber, Egan 0121. Is that out of Hungary somewhere? Because that is yes in Hungarian. Egan, is that how it's spelled? So,
Why would that be out? How did you know that was a Hungarian?
well, I know Egan is yes. That's one of the like 4 or 5 words I've learned from Judith, Hungarian. I learned yes, no, maybe a couple of bad words probably, but and that's it. Well, thank you for the sub. Regardless, appreciate the support here at the Mechanics Institute.
So what does white do to win? Play f3 and bishop d3 and e4?
It's funny, it's such a classic position for white, but how do you break through?
And that's why I was thinking white maybe could have made it easier by taking on b6. Having a outside pass pawn. Still, this should be an easy win, I would imagine.
And check this game out, that Michael Xiao against Jonathan Rice. This is a lot more complex just a few moves ago, where both rooks were on the board. But Endgame Lab, what do you think of this?
All rook and pawn endings are draws. Except for white might be doing well here.
The white king is a lot better than the black king. So
Whoops.
this could be a goner.
Rook h5, rook f4, and then maybe king c3. Now white has 2 passed pawns. So does black, but they're not nearly as interesting.
I remember when I was faced with these positions, I would really feel lost. Like I wouldn't know what the fundamental, like even the basic skeleton of a strategy would be. So like if you're white, you just want to advance pawns, or
There are strong players who go wrong in these kinds of positions. Grandmasters go wrong in these positions.
like is there like a rule of thumb fundamental, like get the rook in front of or behind, or it really just depends on the position?
Yeah, I mean, rooks behind pawns, I suppose, and pushing past pawns, and but they're so difficult. Here it looks like white's ready to play b5.
It seems like white's pieces are like well placed to push that pawn.
Yeah. Black's a little tied up here. I guess, it's a tough position, but white looks like clearly better.
Is it bad?
It's a nice move by black f5. You're saying I'm worse, but not giving ground. You still have your 2 pawns.
Maybe black will play king e8 and try to go over and deal with the b pawn with the king.
Is it bad for black that white's pawns are so spaced out apart? Because usually you'd want to get your king in front of one of those pawns coming at you, but like they're in different sizes. Is that an issue, or is it not really?
I mean, it could be. Specifically, white's king is better than black's, but black is gaining some. Black is just in time to get his king over to the B pawn, perhaps. B6, king E7, rook H7 check might be.
Well, for black, fortunately, he has the move. Otherwise, he would be lost. But something like king E7, H7 check. I guess you go king to D8.
And then, yeah.
But there's two pawns, the B pawn and the H pawn. Maybe you push the H pawn. B pawn by itself won't get through.
Black needs to play king E7 here. Black needs to stop listening to the broadcast.
Oh, no, we should have checked first. Why didn't? Like, it's a bad mistake to push the pawn on B7.
Yeah.
Still, it's good for white, but you could have had this in a better situation by rook check first. The rook going there.
Now,
Okay, H6. And now, careful move by black. Because pawn F4 may not work at all. King H7, good move. I think that just draws.
And that just goes to show you that all rook and pawn endings are draws.
Especially if you're not careful on the advantageous side.
Black did the right thing going over to the queen side with the king.
Yes, that B pawn had to be stopped.
well, it sort of had to do that though too, right? I mean, you guys stop that.
Well,
pawn
he could
somehow.
have panicked and tried, giving up one of the pawns and
Oh, to bring the rook over.
yeah.
And real quick, Gadir gets the win, and look at this mate on the board. Nicely done by Gadir. And same with Balachandra. 2 queens. So the top 2 get the win, as does Mike Walder. Mike Walder gets the win as black. It's going to relieve his opponent of a rook. Right there.
Oh yeah.
But back to this game real quick that we were looking at earlier with Kalyn Melville and Gabriel Nam.
I don't know how Kalyn lost that pawn, but now he's got to show his strength. Really worse against a lower-rated opponent.
We'll see how all of this develop, but back to that end game we were following. It looks like white has played rook f7.
Michael Walter, hello.
Mike in the chat.
All right, we have a dead draw here.
Paul's calling it.
Rook H6, rook F5, king B7, king C4. How about that? 4 pawns disappearing from the board like that.
Yep.
Hey, what about Karyakin versus Shanklin today?
What a
Nick?
game. Oh my gosh. Did you watch?
What do you think
Yeah.
about that, Nick?
Well, it was a little sad, of course. I want Sam to win. That's Karyakin just he went for broke as he had to, and did a King's Indian attack where he's hoping to break through and managed to do it.
I was watching Chess.com's coverage of that this morning, and it was Daniel Naroditsky and Ben Feingold.
Oh, nice.
And the engine kept having Shanklin as like 1.4 ahead. And Daniel kept saying on the broadcast, the engine doesn't know what it's talking about. He said that's not accurate. There's just too much opportunity for White to launch an attack. And sure enough, down the road, the opening came and just a full-on attack. It was incredible.
I think it's easier to play a kingside attack than it is to, play a queenside attack and hope you're not going to get mated.
Yes.
Shanklin played a very principled game. It just went wrong at some point.
And did you get a sense that it was like one move? Because even a club player could see that the attack was building to launch at some point. Did you notice anything?
I didn't study it particularly. Did you, Nick?
Yeah, the engine said it was one move that Sam had chances, and then suddenly it didn't work, and then Karyakin sacrificed the rook correctly and got a mating attack.
Yeah.
Very well done. But yes, in a practical sense, White had better chances. It's hard to play like Alpha Zero and to defend like all these moves. Principally, you're right. Sam had played well. It just it required such a high level of accuracy, and he didn't quite do it.
Yeah, there's something very nice about the way Sam conducted himself in that game. I think just that he was like, I'm going to stick to my guns here. It just didn't work out. But
there was an element that he was. You know how people just in sports and in anything where they have to get just. It's like a soccer team that's ahead and there's 10 minutes left, so they cocoon themselves and start playing defensively. Or a football team that's ahead, and so the football team will give up yards to not give a deep ball. It looked like he was playing aggressively anyway, or trying to play aggressive.
I think you're exactly right, Abel.
Yeah.
Karyakin played a somewhat sleazy opening, not objectively that good, but he had to win the game. And he knew what he was going for. And Sam just played good moves.
Yeah, Karyakin's game almost is like a cartoon version of how you should win in that opening. It's like, in a way, there's almost inevitable from the get-go, like that King's Indian attack. It's a classic King's Indian attack. And just every move was to break through on the G file, and lo and behold, he broke through on the G file, and there was something kind of almost comical about it,
And the other thing they were saying is how Sergei kept all the pieces on the board, no exchanges, deliberately to give himself opportunities and not exchange. And how do you think the Rapids are going to go? They play tomorrow in the tie breaks, 2 Rapid games.
Well, I think that they made a very interesting. They might have come up with a strategy against Shanklin, which is that Shanklin is kind of a non-compromising player. Karjakin's played a zillion games that ended in 15-move draws, probably, right? And whereas Shanklin's had to fight and be an uncompromising kind of player. And so there's a little bit of psychology involved in that opening, I think, where Sam, maybe they figured him out pretty well, I think, there.
Karyakin's played for the World Championship. He's really experienced player, really
Yeah.
tough opponent.
Yeah.
It,
But okay, Sam is motivated. This is going to be an intense playoff.
and you know, Sam is going to bring the intensity, I'm sure. But it's interesting that when these world elite players, when they absolutely need a win, they find it. They find a way. Like, is that something in their repertoire that they kind of save for moments like this, or what is it?
Well, it's like Nick said, maybe it's something a little bit that he wouldn't normally have played. Nick referred to it as sleazy, and maybe the King's Indian attack is not the most,
Like sound?
put
Or...
all the pieces on the board, and, Black has a number of ways to play against it that are, probably all equally good. And Sam chose maybe they had researched his lines, and thought this was the thing, that Sam didn't play the safest kind of system against it. He played the principled attack on the queen side, and and that stuff has been working for Black usually, I think.
Yeah. And Kalyn dealing with an invasion over here.
Kalyn, you need to be like Karyakin here. You're in trouble. You need to score something.
Gotta find the way, find the win. But it's a lot of fun watching the World Cup, especially the format, and just so many games like consecutively.
I'm curious, what do you guys think? Like, there's Carlsen there, and Carlsen is breezing through it. And of course, you love to see the best player in the world playing, except that this is for 2 spots in the candidates. And I just wouldn't want to meet Carlsen if I'm trying to qualify for the candidates. It's just a little unfair.
I don't think he should be allowed in the tournament. It just seems ridiculous to me.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's that ridiculous. Where I think it's unfair is if you're in the... Okay, so for someone like Shanklin, who's in the bottom half, not in Carlsen's half of the draw, if he were to advance to the semifinal, right, he would still be able to play for a shot at third place, right? Is that how it would work?
So if he beats Karyakin and even loses the next match,
Right.
he still might qualify for the candidate.
Yeah, he'd play another match against someone,
Right.
right, for a chance. But if you're in Carlsen's draw and say you're in the quarterfinals, right, it's like, all right, I got to play the world champion for a right to play him, or for a chance to play him.
See, this is where they're using a tennis model for this tournament, like, in a way, and I think it's great. Like, they should, it's like a grand slam, but they have the world champion. They have this other thing, the world championship match. And as long as they have this other thing, which is the world championship match, they shouldn't allow Carlsen in this tournament. If this was like tennis and there was no world champion tennis player, there was just, the grand slams, then fine, let Carlsen play in anything. But this is he's trying to have it both ways.
So,
This doesn't seem fair.
Somebody in the chat asked if Nick's a coffee lover, just maybe send some decaf, and I said no, it's got to be caffeinated.
No, send me some caffeine, okay? My apologies. Let me say apologies. I had a very, very long day starting at 6 a.m. Tuesday. So,
Hey, I have another thing in terms of the candidates. I was talking with another coach. Is Should Carlsen be allowed to play the candidates, and then if he wins, not need to defend the title?
No, that's another thing. That's another thing. We should have Carlsen play himself for the world. I mean, that's the ultimate chess moment, you know? I mean, right? Don't you want to see the best player play?
Carlsen will play himself for the right to play in the candidates next year to play Carlsen.
Yeah, exactly. Let just Carlsen play himself. And the Truman Show.
Oh man. 3 games, I think, left in the round. 3 games.
You know, I'll bet you Carlsen would go for that. You know, I'll play white, and I'll play myself, and for the world championship match, I'll take first and second place. Money.
Get both the prize funds, exactly right.
I don't blame Carlsen so much as the organizers just shouldn't allow it.
The FIDE shouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think so.
I mean, why wouldn't he do it? Especially if there's a prize attached to it, right? Or
Yeah, not only that, but he could possibly demoralize a possible, contender by beating him or whatever.
we wouldn't want that, right? But I don't know. I was talking to you at the mechanics, Paul. You were saying that as more games come down to blitz, it looks like some of these young players really got the game to match up with him.
Not with Carlsen yet. That's the funny thing, right? I mean, how much longer can he beat players like Esipenko, who's only 19? I mean, he played him level in the regular thing, then in the rapid, and lost in the blitz. And it's almost amazing to think of that. You'd think of it would go the other way, where Carlsen would do better in the slow matches, but he's able to beat 19-year-olds.
And you were noticing that the younger player typically had more time on the clock.
Esipenko did, yeah. He was really playing Carlsen well. I don't know about Beckrot. I didn't see those games. But look at Kalyn's found his chance here, Nick.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it's he's broken up the center. He's going to get in trouble now. He has to take the knight on c3
with the rook. Yeah.
He has to take with the rook in order not to fall into a deadly pin, and
but
material
then,
even for the moment, but
still down a pawn.
the rook takes c3. I suppose queen takes d4. White get out of all the troubles. Still down a pawn. You're right. It's
At least the time is somewhat level. Going to this game, these are 2 players that are either new or typically haven't played. Ninkunj Oza playing white. Motif, 1851 USCF against Andy. Andy Zoo, 1312 Vivian Andy is the screen name.
and material is level.
Now, White slowed things down too much by playing f4. There was, I think.
But okay, it's you trade on d5, tuck your king away on b1.
Play for the king side attack.
Hey guys, check this out. Kalyn played rook e3 in that position rather than take. And Mike Walden knows Oza.
Well, it's the same story. Queen takes d4.
Trouble for the white side.
Mike Walder knows everybody.
Yeah.
Mike, my hat's off to you. Any reports from Sir Elliot Winslow?
He's creating stories in New Jersey, or I think he's en route to New Jersey. I think he was off to Denver or something.
We have a question here. Can you go back a move or two before White played rook to e3? The casual player is right. Okay, so here, could White play d takes e5? I'm guessing Black would move his knight and try to stay a piece ahead.
That sort of looks good for Black.
Yeah.
But I don't. DT C5, yeah, probably doesn't work. Yeah, maybe knight B5 and.
You know, I mean, if rook e3 is just miserable, then you want to think of stuff like d takes e5 for sure.
And back to the current position.
Okay, B5 was aggressive, but may have been a mistake. Rook D3, and now you're able to go knight 3 and get out of all those pins and things. So Kalyn coming back and his opponent down to 3 minutes. I don't see a great shot for Black here.
I guess queen e4.
Queen e4, knight e3.
And
You're still a pawn ahead for Black, but the knight's looking active. You're not losing a piece for White.
yep.
Your opponent has 3 minutes.
Yeah, b5 was a little bit hasty, maybe.
Yes, bishop b4 may have taken the point instead.
And now Black under 3 minutes.
How did Judith do?
She lost her game. She lost the game. This is the final here.
Now, is Judith back from Hungary in the United States?
No, still there, but coming back very, very soon. By next week, not this next coming week, but the week after. So she'll be here for the following round of the Tuesday night marathon. For round 5, I believe.
So she's playing at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yes. Yep.
Elliot has sent links to interviews about the Jack Bruce Peter Brown songwriting team. Is that Cream we're talking about? Strange Brew?
We're relying on you, Paul.
For Cream, yes.
Cream. But Peter Brown, now, what was Peter Brown's involved? What was Peter Brown? He didn't play with Cream. That was Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, and Ginger Baker.
What a position here.
Sunshine of your love.
And we have in the chat is Black just only slightly better.
B4, putting the pawn on the same color as the bishop and giving White the. If White can play knight c4, it might be doing quite well here, or find something on the light squares. Queen
White
D.
is only a pawn down, but controls the light squares. Queen d2 and
White's suddenly in this game.
Yeah, I'm betting on Kalyn to take the point now.
It's going to be a question of experience.
Time is going to be of the essence, folks. So, does Elliot noodle around on his guitar at home, Mike? Elliot has an electric guitar. So,
And knows how to use it.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Rarely.
It's funny, you look at this position of Kalyn, he was a pawn down, he was suffering, but he's played and played, and now he's a pawn down and not suffering, and got to the point where he might be having some fun.
No, F5 was terrible. White could have played rook E3 there, and he missed it.
Yeah, that would have probably won, but it's still not nice for black. How do you defend against knight d6? King f6?
King F6 is a good move.
Oof.
Oh, but that
Uh-oh.
probably wasn't.
Uh-oh.
I think go knight e5 if
Knight
nothing
E5.
else. Knight d6. Oh, knight d6 is the crusher.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mate. It looks like it's going to mate by force.
Oh, king to g6.
Queen F5, King H6.
Oh, no, no, the
F7.
black queen guards at f5.
Oh yes. See, now there you go. That's me today, hanging my pieces right and left.
This is dramatic, this position.
But
All right.
Kalyn, under a minute here. Trying to calculate the win. And whatever he does, he's got to be wary of the...
I have coffee, but it's not helping me one bit at all today. I was thinking of getting a brain transplant, and not sure where to get one today.
Look at that.
Oh, okay. Good defensive move. Guarding the f2 pawn. Got a double check there. Great for time pressure.
Dirty tricks by Kalyn Melville here.
Oh, this game could go either way at this point.
Knight D3 was possible too, right? Both players are in desperate time trouble, or Kalyn is.
Well, thank you, Kalyn, for providing us with entertainment. This is
Kalyn has been doing a lot better playing in time pressure through his experience in the mechanics events, and hopefully it comes through here because this is a fine game. Oh,
Yeah, Bishop D6 is good. Good looking move.
okay. Black grabbed a pawn. That's risky.
a little too greedy there.
Still, White's got to do something more than just check Black's king all over the place.
Oh. Has to be something here.
Too bad White's wishing he has his king on G2.
Yeah.
Yes. "29 seconds for white, minute 10 for black." Oh, I think that knight check was not the best.
Yep.
It looked so good, but
Now what?
yeah. F2 is hanging.
Oh,
Serious mistake.
Could have thrown in queen F2 check.
Yeah, Black. Why didn't Black play Queen F2 is beyond me.
Now white scores some pawns with check.
Comedy of errors.
Oh, just giving away all these pawns with check.
Oh, that's a lot of pawn. Another pawn with check.
No.
Oh, okay. That's sad.
Let's see if he doesn't take the queen with check.
A
Now White can just
opponent.
go 5 with the queen on f7.
Oh,
Don't
and
let
that's
him take the b4 pawn with check as well. But he,
King G2 now. Does he stop with King G2? Not yet.
Yeah, King G2 is the move. Just sort of.
queen g5 checking king g2. Watch out for the server.
He's got to watch out. He doesn't repeat. There we go.
Okay, he did it. He did it. And that will win the game. King G2.
Well, Kalyn, a great recovery.
Yeah, what a
My
comeback.
gosh. My gosh.
Mike Walder, suicide. Yeah, just pawn after pawn after pawn was given up.
You think the little ones don't mean so much, but they're not. They shouldn't be free. Yeah, that's just about it.
No
Yeah.
reason to yeah.
Nice game by Kalyn.
No, Queen G8. That's a killer.
He's got to be doing a little fist pumping right now because that was such a bad looking position and he came back from it.
Do they allow pre-moves in tournaments?
Good question. I actually don't know the answer to that.
I don't think so.
Because
I wouldn't think so because yeah,
just said
it'd have been like
black pre-move to recapture. So that would seem to go against the rules of chess.
it would be like a touch move, right? Ahead of time.
Yeah, but I mean, this online play is so.
And that's yeah, you can in online tournaments. Judith says.
Wow, that's really amazing.
That's surprising, actually.
Yeah. Well, and maybe it's true for chess.com and not for Lee Chess or ICC or something like that. It's an odd one.
And is there one game still going with?
Somebody says the
Bruce
endgame
Hedman.
looks interesting. Rucha.
Yeah, let me go to that. That's Bruce Hedman playing.
Yeah, mouse slips. Even Carlson has done that one.
Well,
Yeah, Carlson was winning against the Pombiachi and moved his queen where a pawn takes it. It just
well,
it's what online chess is.
well, black. Apparently, black blundered. But let me take a look.
We have the Magister Ludi versus the Reverend Bruce Hedman. What a great match. That's fantastic.
And it was King and Rook versus King and Bishop.
Ah.
And then something happened.
So this should be a draw.
That's what happened right there.
Ouch.
That's what happened.
Ooh.
So this will be over soon.
So yeah, Magister Ludi versus the Reverend Bruce Hedman. Amazing.
Magister Ludi from Hermann Hesse, the Reverend Bruce Hedren. Paul, I'm relying on you for the literary references.
I don't think there is one. I don't have one. I'm I'm just thinking it's kind of funny.
Hey, so Nick,
That was a
yeah, go ahead.
Magister Ludi was a sort of a chess themed book in a way, right?
The English translation was the Glass Speed Game. I guess it got the Nobel Prize for that, for literature that year.
What year was that?
It was the 1930s.
30s.
Yeah, and it was kind of a game, but I'm not sure. It had some relation to games and mysticism and stuff like that.
Like real chess.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Nick, Paul and I took a walk to North Beach area, and he was telling me about some of the chess hangouts and cafes and what can you tell me about like the street chess history? Not because it seems like San Francisco's got such a rich chess culture that's not about tournaments and rated, but it's just people playing chess that are just part of the community and just playing to play. Um, Holy cow! The game drew by repetition.
Oh no. Wow. Huh.
It drew by repetition because I'm guessing White did not really know the pattern of how to force the mate, and then yeah, White started moving the rook back and forth, and next thing you know, just repeat.
Ah, I see. Yeah. That's too bad.
And I think that's Rithwik Narendra in the chat is saying, well, he was right. It was drawn. So,
Yeah.
Well,
Yikes.
the Reverend Bruce pulled it out with the help of some higher power.
literally a higher power that is the computer engine keeping track of everything. Because this is over the board. This is not a. Nobody's keeping track of the position. They're blitzing out moves already. So all the games of round one are done, and we will have the updated standings shortly. Pros.
So you can actually stack up pre-moves? That sounds utterly bizarre. In other words, you can say, I'm going to go king here, king here, king here, king here, king here. And that way, if you're playing an ultra bullet game or something, um, you know,
I've never understood that. Like I've never.
well, you start to take things further and further away from the laws of chess, right? I mean, it's like a hybrid of chess, you know, where I don't know. I mean, obviously there are grandmasters that are quite fond of bullet chess and so on and so forth. So,
But just like pre-move, like that's, and I actually have never done pre-move like in online. Never thought of it. Never did it. What happens if someone plays outside of the expected outcome? Does it just not? The game just goes
I mean,
on.
you see, I watch every once in a blue moon, I'll see some 15-minute game, 15-second game or something like that. And you know, with the pre-moves and somebody's blundering their queen and the other person doesn't see it. And, you know, it's like, well, it's not that they don't see it, but they've pre-moved, so they haven't captured the queen,
and
right? And it becomes this whole other thing where you're trying, it's like poker, I would imagine, where you're bluffing that you're going to be able to play this move and get away with it.
And both Judith and Rithwik are in the chat saying that if you move outside of the expectation, it just cancels and just plays.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But to me, that's like super difficult to like lock in all the pre-moves, and then if something different happens,
Well, you're doing it so that you can gain time
Yeah.
and beat your opponent on time. Right? What other use?
There was
What
a
other?
postal game where I guess any cost that game d4 g6 of any bishop g7. So I played bishop h6. So the pre-move started in postal chess, where it's like, hey, I'm pre-moving e4. If you do e5, I'm gonna do knight f3.
Right.
Postal game. I used to do that. Funny enough, I used to
You
play
would send a letter, and 2 weeks later,
a
you'd get a
postcard.
reply.
Yeah, a postcard. Right. Postal chess.
Those were the days, man.
Yeah, sure, send it as long as it's clean.
Now life go now you're not living unless you've played a 15-second game. Yeah.
All right, someone's gonna have to click on that and verify that it's something that we can leave up there.
I'll click on it. It's Nakamura pre-moving a game.
And it's crazy, right? Because all you see is like a bunch of arrows, and all the pre-moving. It's like I can't even understand the chess because all I see is a bunch of arrows flipping around, and you're doing a pre-move.
Well, it's funny. Nakamura has become so. He was always a blitz player, but he's become an entertainer and a rapid player.
And I got the pairings there for the next round. I have Ritwik Narendra's in the chat. He's playing Balachandra Dulipala on board 2. Gadir Gusenov against Aaron Nikoski, the King Smasher. Mike Walder, Brian Hood. Got some good games. I'm really interested to see this board 5. Catherine Sunny Liu taking on Oza. And as I've been saying in the chat, Sunny Liu is no joke. She is going to be one of the next big girl players from the Bay Area.
Very cool.
Your student. Who's your student? Which one's your student? Oza, Sunny Liu, Brian.
Brian Hood.
Brian Hood. Oh, you're playing your student? He's at a disadvantage. All right. The next round should start in about a minute.
I'm going to take a quick break and get myself a glass of water.
Yeah, you do that. We'll rotate. Getting a quick drink.
You need to go yourself?
No. Yeah, just to get like a quick drink. Go ahead.
No, you go first so you can be back for the games.
All right, let me just just make sure board 1 pops up. All right, I will be right back.
Now we can talk about Abel while he's gone, Nick.
This is great. Somehow the mechanics says online chess, and we're getting over the board chess back. It's fantastic, sort of in a way a double thing, and we've also become a national chess club, not just the local chess.
I mean, we have a guy playing from Azerbaijan.
That is
One
fun.
of the top 100 players in the world.
Who is Michael Walder's friend and teacher. So that's this online stuff has just been great.
Oh, watching Gadir play week in and week out, it's fantastic.
All right, I'm back.
That was kind of a quick break.
Yeah, just the funny thing for me is after coaching a live on-site camp today, a relaxing, easy thing to do is sit here and do the broadcast, because that is hard, coaching a live camp for hours on end.
That was in Burlingame today?
Burlingame, yeah, at Cole's Mansion. It's great. It's a great camp, 14 students. It's in a nice area because when we take breaks, you can take breaks outside. And there's a tennis court where the kids are running around, and in the tennis court there's a basketball hoop, and they lay the balls out. So we have a lot of fun, but yeah, it's exhausting to say the least. And International Master Balachandra, what do you think of?
He's playing the funky opening.
According to the casual chess player.
And he's bringing out the moves. So, looking on board one, Scandinavian, played by Aaron Nikoski against Gadir Gusenov.
With knight f6 rather than queen takes d5.
Yeah.
On that pawn to c4, I would retreat the knight back to f6. So the knight's not quite as good on b6. I think Gadir's already got a little edge in the.
That's very interesting point there. Very, very interesting.
Looks very Alekhine-ish, or Alekian, as Mike Walder would call it.
I like that term, Alekian.
Alekian.
It's I don't know if it's been coined.
Alekian.
Black had better be careful here. The Alekian move.
Alekian.
What would Dr. Jekyll play here?
Well, the knight should go to d5.
Holy cow, look at this game. Look how this game is developed. Sonny Liu, I was saying, I want to see board 5. Sonny Liu on board 5 playing against, let me pull up the sheet, against Oza, Nikunj Oza.
It's an
Petrov.
equal game. Maybe black is even a little better here. More
It's a real defensive game, just neutralize white.
Oh, let me, gotta update the round here on the broadcast.
What was with that opening? Is this a known opening thing?
Yes, Petrov just don't let white get anything, and I think black succeeded in that.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. All right, let's go to
Are you saying white's position's a little bleh?
little meh.
Yeah,
So what do you think of white's choice here of a4?
Well, that's a sneaky move, threatening a trap of black bishop.
Alexandra didn't fall for it.
I know. 99 times out of 100, the international master will fall for the two-move threat. But
For the cheapo.
Yeah.
So does white ever castle at all in this game?
Maybe not.
castling is for, is not for brave chess players.
Where's your
You
courage?
should write a book called Castling is for Wimps.
Yeah, castling is a wimpy move.
And all the games should be where, the king plants itself in the middle and you just launch an attack on each side.
I think there is some kind of variation of that where they played without castling. I think recently I saw something online, some tournament or something like that.
Yeah. How about a book of the Brave King? You can start with that short Tim on game where the king comes up to checkmate him, and none of these wimpy kings just standing back and letting all the other forces.
Start with the Trojan. Played all those beautiful games with the king in the middle.
What do you think of knight g5 here?
I like it.
Well, you probably have to castle.
I like knight g5 a lot. Perfect move. And black, it forces black to play that wimpy castling move
Right.
that everybody's been trying to avoid lately.
So it's good that Ritwik Narendra using his time now.
Yeah, Rook's just doing okay here.
Scanning through the games. Wow, look at this game.
This could be an upset.
Ivan Zong playing white against Kalyn. We got some aggressive chess here.
Oh, is Kalyn outrated this game? No, he's the favorite again.
He's the favorite. 1335 is white's rating.
So he managed to sort of semi-swindle his opponent last round. This round,
Why not? Nothing succeeds like success. You should probably try to swindle him again this round too.
Just stick to that same strategy. Just rely that luck is going to fall your way.
Nothing succeeds like success.
Success at success. Did you ever see that?
Doing great here, I would say. I would take on c4 and start opening up that bishop.
look at that move, knight g5.
Knight g5 and then
Very
castled.
impressive move.
Then castled. This will be interesting.
Yeah, this is a good game. This is Balachandra being tested a little bit here.
I don't know about castles to follow it up. I would have gone f3, maybe
Right.
throw up the kingside pawns.
But if you did f3, where would you end up repositioning the knight? Like,
Oh, I would leave that knight. That knight it sits nicely on g5. Nothing can attack it.
oh, so
Yeah.
so even if the knight went like knight h7, then you would just take the knight.
I guess you'd trade by then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or play h4. Let black take on g5. Now black seems to be doing maybe okay.
Success. Do any of you remember that commercial? It was a Kobe Bryant commercial. It had Richard Branson and Tony Robbins and all that, where
No.
Kobe was on stage trying to teach all these visionary leaders,
With monster egos.
with monster egos, that you have achieved success, right? But have you achieved success at success? So he was going to teach them how to achieve success at success. They've only achieved success. That's not enough. You got to achieve success at success.
I see. Well, some of these guys could start away by giving away some of their money to people who need it. That would be successful as far as I'm concerned.
Especially if they give it to us.
Yeah, or instead of hoarding it all to themselves and building rockets that take their egos into
space. Take them and their egos into space.
Yeah.
To come back down. To like see darkness and then come back down.
Yeah. Nobody really cares. I mean, I don't.
See, I got Paul going. As if I needed to do that.
Yes, I got a call. There was the U.S. Senior Open ended like a day or two ago, and so Natasha called me up because there was Yasser and Larry Christensen and James Tarjan and stuff. So they were having a big political argument there. You get the conservatives and the liberals and things and such, and so she just wanted to avoid that. So
there was political controversy at the senior.
Yes,
that's where you would find it.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake for these guys. Well, I mean, some of the poor chess players have definitely, the ones that don't have any money have been quite principled about staying that way. And my sympathies are still with them.
Yeah. Well, which makes up 98% of the chess players, 99.9%.
Sure. Elliot's our chess monk, in a sense.
And in the chat, where's the West Coast Rex Sinquefeld? Not around. There's plenty of money. It's just not coming to chess.
Well, what's this thing coming up in San Francisco again with Carlson and all that stuff?
Well, even that's not, in my opinion,
spread around.
So one of the legs of the FIDE Grand Prix is going to be played in San Francisco. It's being sponsored by Tech. But it's not as if like Rex Sinquefield, like they're gonna develop chess on a regular, ongoing basis and support it.
No, this is news to me. One of the Grand Prix tournaments is going to be held in San Francisco,
or the Grand Chess Tour.
Grand Chess Tour. Yeah.
Grand Chess
Tour. Right. Yeah, it's all very fine. It's a version of building the rocket. You know what I mean? Like, here, look at all this. Here are the great players, and here's all this money, and here's this one-time event, and we'll see you in a couple of years. But
okay, but it's an event. It's
a good thing.
The chess players to San Francisco. So
no, it's a great thing, obviously. But yet, kudos to Sinquefield for developing chess in a way, and the Mechanics Institute, and anybody who sticks around and for the long term.
That's true. When you build it for the long term, it becomes very special.
And
so SFO as the regular event location.
Is that actually where this Grand Chess Tour is happening?
It's I don't know where in San Francisco. I believe it's the Meltwater Champions Tour.
Right.
But
at Terminal 53.
At the Starbucks inside the
the Starbucks, yeah.
The Starbucks at SFO. But I don't know if anything has changed with regards to that. So.
All right, well, we have a complicated King's Indian here. Structure.
And let me jump to board 2 and take a look at that. This is the position now in this game.
Have we seen Gadir's game?
We have not, actually. Where is that? There it is. Here is the game against Aaron Nikoski, who's playing black.
Yes, you see this
Oh, yeah.
decisive stuff from Gadir's games. And this is just over already.
Okay.
It's just nonstop.
It takes B5.
Just nonstop pressure.
And then he can't castle.
Well, the threat is bishop f6 and bishop takes d7 or something. So
But he has to take on B5, right?
and the queen takes on b5, and you can't interpose, so you have to move the king to f8,
And then queen takes B7, threatens queen F7 mate.
which is not easy to defend. You have to go queen e8. Ouch, ouch.
Yeah. It's lost already. It's hard to out-prepare these grandmasters in the opening.
Yeah, it's hard to get a good opponent for Gadir in these games. Michael Walder has notched him for a few draws, and Karen Griffith. I don't know if he's playing these Thursday night marathons anymore.
No, he might come back eventually, but he just moved to Boston.
He can play online.
He can certainly play online, and hopefully we see him soon. I have a feeling he'll come back and play again.
We saw that great game that Gusenev played against Lenderman a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, just complete restriction of his pieces. And I'm realizing one thing I have not done is put the link of the Thursday night marathon in the chat. So if you want to follow the standings and see the pairings, you can follow that link. Which reminds me, this Saturday at the Mechanics Institute, the Vladimir Pafnutiev Memorial, 4 rounds USCF rated live at the Mechanics Institute. Still time to register if you are interested. Game in 45 with 5-second delay. Click on that link or just go to the Mechanics Chess page and register. Starts at 10 a.m. So I will be at the Mechanics Institute this Saturday, and come join. Get 4 rounds of USCF rated chess live at the Mechanics Institute. Wow, look at that.
And it's losing a rook at least for black.
Yeah, pawn C6 now. This is so awful. He's losing his queen, Nick.
Gadir could have won a piece, but he didn't want to just win a piece.
And look at Gadir's clock, right? He's at like
C6, queen B4 check is another crushing move.
he's just set on relieving him of his queen with these moves. Makes it look effortless, that's for sure.
Yeah, he does.
And that is it. Black resigns and Gadir Guseynov. 2 out of 2 to start off the Thursday night marathon. Back to board 2.
He's giving chess lessons at the mechanics.
Yeah.
What it is.
So Black retreated to f6.
Instead of playing knight to e5. So Black is trying to play d5 here. That's a clever move going back to f6 because the obvious knight e5
I think it was also good.
But actually, what happens? Knight e5, rook e8, and rook e7.
It was also good for Black.
Yeah.
It was just very bad for White to play bishop d3 and get those doubled isolated pawns.
Yeah, White's going for broke here with this strategy. It doesn't look like it should work.
And should White have a little more temperament here to develop the game, or what are you thinking?
Well, he exchanged bishops on e3, and that meant that he needs to pull off a tactical solution. And if he doesn't have it, he's just going to be much worse.
Let me go back to board 5. Sunny Liu against Oza. Nikunj Oza. And looks like Black's got a nice advantage here.
Oh, yeah.
Extra pawn, 2 pieces for a rook. Yeah.
Looking good. Let's take a look at the student and the teacher with Mike Walder's game. They'll be going over this in their
Now,
in their
this
lesson.
was a queen's pawn opening. Mike usually likes to start with pawn to e4, but
Started with c4.
okay, maybe just because he was playing a student, he wanted to play something different out of the normal lines that they studied together.
And, yeah, c4 and c6. And then this is how it developed.
And just a nice game for White with all those active pieces.
I think Black is in serious trouble here.
Just like rook a to d1 and just keep.
But maybe you can just move the knight and attack the rook at a8.
Lots of pressure for the White side, yeah.
Not good.
Knight d4 may
What does
kind
it
of
use
end the
to-
game. Ah, Mike liked that move.
You called it, Nick.
Yeah.
I think Black is busted here.
But you have to beat your students at least the first few games. You know, they've got to have respect for you.
Right.
You gotta let them know what their dollars are worth it.
Black fell way behind in development here.
And what can you do? The rook is attacked. Knight c6 is crushing. So you have to play pawn to e5 and rather just take the rook or throw in knight c6 and White wins material.
So what's going on board 2?
Yeah, let's see how this is developing. Back to this game, and it's international. It's the IM that's a lot. 21 minutes on the clock to Rithwik's 26.
You know, that knight g5, if we go back, that was a really good move. Bishop e3, getting your pawns double isolated was a bad move, but g5 is just tying the black piece down.
If white could have played, yeah.
Now, here you were saying before he castled that perhaps maybe there was something else?
Well, you might just go slowly, pawn to f3, king to e2, bishop e3. Keep that knight on g5. It's a great piece.
Yeah.
You don't have to get bad pawn structure.
And that was the key, f3, king e2, bishop e3.
Yep. Well, black's going to do something. Black might play c6 and g5 and try to, but still.
And then this is the live position coming up. Black has just played bishop c6.
Black should be better with those double isolated pawns, but how do you free yourself from the pressure on f7?
And then the other rook's coming into play.
Yeah, what should white do here? Rook f1 or rook d1?
Rook f1, can you go bishop takes e4?
Probably.
Like,
Sure.
what can black do to try to make progress without exposing himself?
Well, he can play bishop takes e4. That's the threat here. I think Nick put his finger right on the move that black is threatening, is bishop takes e4. They're coming to take you away. Fire engines.
Isn't that a song? They're coming to take you away.
They're coming to take me away. White messed this up.
So bishop c2 won't do it?
Yeah, maybe that's the best. It's defensive. If it's needed, it's needed. But if bishop c2, rook maybe e5 or just e7, and then double on the e line.
Or try to play d5 right away. Black's doing good now.
And in the chat, the casual player saying maybe black rook e5 and then knight h7. Yeah. And now white is using their time.
Yeah, well, white's in trouble, I think. Once he played bishop e3, he needed a different. He needed something to happen fast, and it didn't materialize, and now he's got issues.
Look at this game on one of the boards. White is Marina Xiao taking on Savagnia from Monopoly. And fun position to look at.
Wow, black looks like that has a powerful game here.
Yeah, look at that, the bishop on a7, that long diagonal there.
Yeah, and he even played bishop a7 to take it out of capture. So what would you do here if you're white? Yeah, I'm always scared of playing these kind of positions for white.
And it is out of an Italian game. There you go.
Like to move, yeah.
Threatens rook takes f3.
Knight
Yeah.
g6 still threatens rook takes f3.
And
Okay,
white
you're
can't even play knight g4, right?
Right. White would have to go back to knight g1 or something like that.
yeah, the threat is rook f3, pawn f3, knight f4, winning.
Right.
Um,
So you have to move the knight to g1 or something, right? Scary.
Knight to g1, a very defensive move against all those black pieces coming up. But yeah, we don't see a knockout. So will he play knight g1? A hard move to play.
Knight g1. But can you do that? Knight g1 and then bishop takes e3?
Queen
yeah.
takes e3.
And then queen takes e3?
No, there's a rook at f4 blocking capture.
Oh, I haven't moved that out yet. Yeah. G3.
Well, yes, knight g1, bishop takes e3. Even if queen takes e3, you go rook takes f2. You're winning a pawn for the black side, but
you also may not want to give up that pressure, right?
yeah, if you have a lot of pressure, so to cash in for just a pawn, maybe you can do better.
Right.
And white might take with the queen.
Knight g1, bishop e3, queen e3, rook f2.
Queen f2. Possibly.
And you get 2 rooks against the queen and pawn.
Probably still better for black, but
Something to think about anyway.
Such a nice position for black. You're looking at, a big punch, almost a knockout punch.
But white has to find knight g1 first. Otherwise, rook f3 comes and it's all over.
And she's
Yes.
thinking. She's in deep thought there. On board 2, still a move not played yet. Oh no, he did play a move. White played rook a f1.
So our first thought, you can just take pawn on e4, bishop takes e4. And maybe you're just a pawn up.
Or what about bishop d5? Bishop,
Well, you want to trade rooks and then bishop d5,
right.
but you're going to lose a pawn back on the b file.
knights also there's knight c5, right?
Oh, yeah.
Black has snatched a pawn.
Yeah, this is not. If black can play c6 and d5, it's going to be.
It's, white should have let the game remain complicated with all the queens and things on. Then there were lots of chances. Pawn down endgame is a pawn down endgame.
This is technically lost for white.
Yeah.
Well, at least technically worse.
Let me flip back to board 5 here, because to me it's a little intriguing, this game with Sunny Liu, because it looked like black had significant advantage in having the 2 pieces, and I think even an extra pawn. But I feel like black may be better, but it's sure not easy.
So we count the pawns 2, 4, 5 for the white side, 2, 4. Now only 5. Seems like black lost a pawn.
Lost a pawn, yeah.
Well, white's got more than they had, but still, it's black for choice here.
King e5 would guard the pawn. And rook c6.
Yeah, you go back to c6. And then what, bishop b6?
No, then rook h6. So black would want to play bishop c1.
Oh, yeah.
Bishop c1.
Oh, come around over there.
3. That's the way black should be thinking about this, I think, is going after those queenside pawns.
Maybe, but if you lose the c7 pawn, then this white only has to trade off 1 pawn over there, and
Mike Walder did get the win against Brian Hood. The chess equivalent of Yoda subduing Luke Skywalker, which you would expect.
White's got some chances to hold this game.
Oh, wow, look at that move.
Yeah, aggressive, but
The more pawns get exchanged, the happier white is. Unless it's the wrong pawns.
yeah, black is still better. All the pieces are at least on good squares.
And then the other thing too is, can white get to a point where you can trade off all the pawns and force black to try to mate you with king, knight, and bishop?
Yeah, we just saw that repetition of the rook ending, winning ending.
Wow, that was.
This game is drifting towards a draw.
black has to somehow win both the pawns on the queen side. Maybe bishop c1 and bishop a3, but you still have to get that c2 pawn. It's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary.
Long way to Tipperary. Now, king e2 is a good move, no?
Yes, excellent. Where's that bishop going to go?
Oh,
It gets trapped if it goes to g1, right? Oh, no, not quite.
Oh, king e2. Yeah, you take the pawn
Yes,
on h6.
what does that have to do with anything? Oh, he's going after the B pawn. Oh, there goes the B pawn, rook B6, I think.
And
which is
that is right. Yep.
a tricky move, and that should be a draw.
That was a good move, Rook F6, actually.
Well, it was a tricky move,
That was a tricky
certainly.
move. I don't know if it was a good move. You're right, Nick. No idea.
And it did the job. That was the dangerous pawn way on the queen side. Black's not going to win with those king side pawns.
I had a little something fall over here.
Just got to get the king to G2 and start trading. There's no part of white that might be looking, how can I win this, right? Can't be.
If you're Aaron Griffith, of course, you're
Yeah,
thinking
you
to
can
win.
go after the G4 pawn and then try to win one of the pieces. I mean, often the players are in the heat of battle and struggling so much.
Now look at this. Can't you just deliver a check and then king E2?
That's what it looks like to me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think Black could have saved it because the knight could come to B4 attacking the rook.
Right.
But
Okay.
but
But that would have been a good try.
yeah, good winning try. So, okay, bishop G5, you'll make it draw.
What's the difference between making a draw and earning a draw? Or scoring a draw?
I love the way you
Language.
pose those questions.
Let's do a quick.
I've noticed, Nick, you have a very certain terminology that you use, and I try to learn from it, or at least I try to gain some insight into the way you think sometimes. And
Well, yes, of course. I'm, the typical aggressive chess player. That's what you do. Like you're here, Sam Shankland. Got to do this. You got to do that. You're focused on where you're headed as a chess player, and you tend to look at both sides more.
well, I shot my bolt a long time ago, so. And Nick, you're quite the attacking player, as Mike Walter points out.
And
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
no, now, Mike, we look at your attacking games.
Well, Mike's had some attacking games.
So you make a draw if it's against a high-rated player. You earn a draw from a bad losing position. And you swindle a draw. There are also all kinds of different ways to make a draw.
Yeah.
Luck into a draw. That's a popular method.
Make
Someone
draw.
should just take this chat and write a book from it.
Make draw. How many times have we heard that by someone? Make draw. You gotta make draw.
Then there's lucking into a draw.
I just feel like something's going to happen in this game that's going to yield a decisive result. I feel that for some reason.
Well, black is still putting. Oh, this game.
Yeah.
This is looking. This is looking like make draw.
like make draw please. Well, they just did. They repeated.
Oh, how about that?
So, all right.
That's an honorable result.
Yeah, good game for Sunny Lou holding on.
Yeah, she held on. Definitely, that was a success for white.
Back to this one here.
So just to clarify, that was a make draw, earn a draw, or
I'd say she earned it because it's not like she needed complete luck, and then she found some great moves, like that one move. So if you make good moves, then
Make good moves,
you
make draw.
we got Adam Stafford in the chat. Hey, Adam.
And that's an interesting thing, that there are players that are more peacefully inclined than other players as well. In general.
And let's take a quick peek at Kalyn Melville, who pulled one out in his first round. Adam saying he's pretty much the most tactical player there is. And I think what he means by that is his whole game is just about tactics. He sets up, gets out of the opening and then just mixes it up and finds tactics. The problem is when you don't find tactics readily, what do you do? That's the struggle. That's the next level.
I remember when I was learning, and there was some players that you love to play tactics, and they just stop your tactics. You can never get anything going.
Yeah.
It just frustrates you so much.
It's probably like boxers, right? Or mixed martial artists, where you go through a certain level of competition and you just have your way with them and bully them and just rough them up, and then once you get to a certain level, people move around the ring to throw your timing off, and little subtle things where now you can't use those tactics the same way you did against the weaker opponents, and you're trying to figure out, why can't I do it? And it's little subtle things like that, like throwing off timing or playing positional to not allow something, right? So anyway, I digress.
Yeah, somehow the higher levels are more about defense in all these sports.
All right, let me go back to the end game on board 2, as we've traded down. Oh, but now Balachandra's up 2 pawns.
Oh no.
That's going to be a little too much for black there.
2 is too many.
2 is too many. That is the theme.
White kind of fell into this a little bit. It was their own doing in a way.
And one more plug, why not? Saturdays, come down to the Mechanics Institute. 4 rounds, USCF rated, the Pafnutieff Memorial. We're expecting to have 40 players or so around there. Come on down, get your game on. Next month, do we have that up yet? Let me look. Yeah, we do. So the weekend of August 21st through the 22nd, the Bernardo Smith Memorial, FIDE rated 5 rounds Saturday and Sunday at the Mechanics Institute. That'll be our first FIDE rated weekend event in about a year and a half. So there it is. 5 rounds FIDE rated August 21st through the 22nd at the Mechanics Institute. Lots more info will come your way as the event approaches. So there it is.
Now, I know quite a bit of mechanics history, but I'm trying to remember who was Bernardo Smith.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because when we were scheduling these events, like, I had to go into, the archives and find out. And a lot of the information I got was from John Donaldson's newsletters. And
Which makes sense, since he started these tournaments
right.
many years ago.
And what we're trying to do too is when we come out with these events, trying to see if we can try to include like a little bit of the history of some of these players.
Little capsule biographies.
Yeah, I remember there was one year where Judith actually up on in the tournament hall put up a little thing. It was when we had the Addison Memorial, and it was kind of well done, because then people got to learn a little bit about the players. Learn about the players. These tournaments are named after. And I'm trying to find that article, because
Well, Bill Addison was a very well-known player, as well as being the director of the Mechanics Institute Chess Club at one time.
right. But then Pafnutieff.
Yeah, now that guy.
I had to look that up.
Should know, but who's Pafnutieff? I know Bagby. Of course, I know lots of these old players, but the Bernardo Smith and Bagby.
And
This is not the Addison. This is the Thursday night marathon, Adam.
yes. And actually, one of the Facebook posts I did earlier this week had a picture of Vladimir Pafnutieff.
Addison was the strongest player probably ever, a native San Franciscan ever.
He was international master, yeah.
Yeah, but was as strong as a grandmaster, I think.
Oh, in those days, that was a very special title.
Yeah,
International master, yeah.
and he played in an interzonal, I think. Is that right, Nick? Did he play?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
And finished somewhere in the middle of the field. So
He beat Gligarich.
Kim comments. I don't know. I never saw him at the Mechanics. He was a Southern California guy, right, Nick? Didn't you? You must have run across him a bunch of times.
Yes, Kim Common's a great player from the 70s and had a music club in Southern California, but he passed away about 5 years ago.
He came up and played in the Bay Area once, and I played him when I was an up and coming player, and the game ended in a draw. It was one of my first good results against the top player. I think it was at a people's tournament, some tournament over in Berkeley.
No,
It was actually, you know where it was held, Abel? Was at the Claremont Hotel.
the Claremont.
Yeah,
Oh, wow,
there was,
over there, the big white,
yeah.
the white hotel on the hill.
I remember Richard Shorman was there, and but I don't remember who else played in the tournament. But it was a tournament at the Claremont Hotel. What a venue that was!
Wow.
Beautiful. I don't know if they ever had another tournament there at the Claremont. Look at that, he won the first Paul Masson, says somebody. That's very trippy.
Yeah, wow.
I knew that.
I did not know Addison was from New Orleans, too.
I didn't know that either.
Jude Acer's over there still with the table.
And he has
Good there.
the mechanics.
Yeah, yeah. He sends me the occasional email.
Oh, he's a big fan of yours, Abel.
Oh,
Shoot.
good. Yeah, it's he's a nice one to have on your side, especially when he's sending correspondence to the USCF and
Good.
and Carol
He's got
Meyer and Jennifer Shahadi and all them.
He's got a unique voice.
Yeah.
There should be more people in that category.
Yeah, no, love the style.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Look at this, all kinds of threats here.
Yeah, white's ready to blow up on e5,
Yeah.
and black needs to do something.
Queen takes d5.
Maybe that does it. Because then you can't sacrifice and capture with the queen on e5. So yeah, queen takes d5. And then maybe that's it for white. You've lost your pawns, you've lost your center. If you don't have some way to get back something quickly, you're just gone.
This was I think a King's Indian way back in the day.
It was.
Two pawns ahead for black, and
Yeah, this is tough.
So, any surprise entrance into the U.S. Open that you've heard about?
Surprise entrance into the U.S. Open.
Surprise, like Aronian or something like that.
No, nothing that crazy.
Because he's hanging
see.
around the U.S. now, right? I expect. It used to be that there would be some super GMs playing in these tournaments.
Well, let me check that out here. Let me check that out. Anatoly Karpov's going to be there doing like a book signing,
Nice.
as is Joel Benjamin.
Maybe Hans Niemann will win the U.S. Open and start going on a tear.
Hey, and why don't we give a nice shout out to Rui Yang, who finished again second at the U.S. Junior Girls.
Wow.
2 years in a row. I remember when we organized the U.S. Cadet and we gave Rui the wild card, and she took a bit of a beating, right, against these top kids, right.
Great experience,
But we
though.
knew that this is the kind of experience playing competition like this, where this is the kind of stuff that makes you a champion someday. And 2 years in a row, she finishes second to Annie Wang, right? Was the tournament favorite. Uh, I'm confident she will have her day eventually. I mean, she's so young. She's like 13, right? So
Next year
13 or
first.
14. So her time will come. I mean, she's just too good and too aggressive, and we got to get her back playing in the TNM.
Definitely.
So Kalyn getting it done here. Good for him. Good day today for Kalyn Melville.
Piece ahead, although he's, yeah.
Let's go back to this game. Where
Kalyn's going to be playing Gadir next round.
That's
if he's
right.
on.
Yeah. Or Bala Chandra's going to get a chance for some revenge. I'm trying to see the entries.
Ooh. That was a little funny. I mean, you need to go knight takes h4, sacrifice the piece. But why did you let that other white knight get in the game?
Black is hesitating here. Time to take on h4.
Well, or maybe take on d4 first, then take on h4. But
Yeah,
I would have
96 not possible.
taken on h4 without bringing the white knight from d3 to d4.
Might allow 96, yeah.
But this is the point. You have to be decisive. You have to, slowing down. And now the knights can block on f5, block those two powerful rooks on f8, f7. And,
Good night, casual player. Thanks for joining us.
All right.
Tell your friends.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Yeah, queen d7. Well, if knight f5, queen takes a4, black goes to material world.
something's wrong about being materialistic there.
I agree.
Knight ef5 maybe, queen a4, we go pawn h5, we go knight e6. White's beginning to take control.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's as though the sack on h4 did not occur to black.
Yeah, I think that was just good for black. Just take on h4, get those rooks going.
White needs to cover the king side, play knight f5 and move over that direction.
Check out this game that's going on. Actually, that's not. This is the one I wanted to look at.
Oh, this is of interest because black is ahead material, but white's creating these threats. When you get through, you're up 9 minutes on the clock, down material. That a pawn is telling you need to do something right away. What do you do? Okay, good move. Patience, because I didn't see a shot right away. You stopped the A pawn.
And keep the idea of queen f5 in if the black queen plays queen b4 or something. Got to find something to do here, though.
Yeah, like queen to F5, black just goes pawn to G6.
And then if you takes back with the pawn, I suppose.
It takes back with the pawn, and there's just no checkmate. There's no severe attack. So you need something.
Something sneaky.
I think you may be right.
You can't
Here,
do
maybe-
queen f. I'm sorry. Were you guys talking queen f5?
Yeah, but then black goes g6.
And you just take it.
And then rook, pawn takes g6.
And then queen h3.
Queen h7. And then you even have to trade queens.
Oh, yeah, I think this was too forcing. White needed to go something like queen e2 or f3 and push the e and f pawns. And you make your threat immediately, but it doesn't crash through.
Now, can there be something with playing queen e4 here
Yes.
with the thought that if it takes, then you go f5?
I like that.
That's good thinking. That's good chess thinking, Abel. You're going places, Abel.
Occasionally, I see things like the kid in The Sixth Sense. He sees dead people. Occasionally, occasionally.
Here, white. Yeah, I mean, white should not play queen h3 check. Should play queen e4. Still with the keeping the queens on.
Oof. Oh my goodness. You'll see it soon.
Okay, that the end. Oh, he didn't play the end.
He didn't play. He didn't go for the trade.
Okay, so queen g4 keeps the queens on.
And stop.
Oh, what? Queen h7?
Oh no.
Oh wait a minute. What the heck just happened here? It was a double.
Play his queen.
Like Adam Stafford, he's like it was a double blunder.
He thought that the bishop on b1 was defending the queen.
And it was it. Oh.
Black also was laboring under the same delusion.
Or is it a DGT problem?
I don't think it's a DGT.
Except it's on chess.com.
This is there. This is it's not a DGT problem. We get some amusing things during the Tuesday night marathon with the DGT.
Yeah, it's like
thinking for itself, you know.
Yeah.
Queen h3, not queen h6, but queen h3.
Okay, I am confused by this game.
Queen h7. Okay, now bishop a2, trying to play queen h8.
Ooh.
Wow.
Wow. This game is it's almost, this game could never put anybody to sleep.
Look.
Ouch.
Look at this.
Ouch.
Look at this.
Bishop a2 wins the game.
Now bear in mind, white is like 1,000 level player.
Yeah,
So
I know.
you're gonna have to see this. This would be a great find. Bishop a2.
I'm rooting for
It
him.
wins.
I have my own reasons. I know this player,
It wins.
and he struggles. He needs to find this.
He wants to find the right moves.
7 minutes on the clock.
And
There have been some horrendous blunders already in this game.
he got it.
Wow.
Got it.
Amazing.
Cleveland Lee getting it done on the Tuesday night marathon. Hopefully, we don't see a double blunder. He went from giving the queen away to taking it from his opponent.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Well, you know, chess is a game of whoever makes the next to last mistake wins, you know.
And I think Black was so frustrated. Uh, Adam Stafford saying he disconnected, but we can see that the connection's bad. He probably just checked out.
Well, congratulations
Uh,
Yeah.
to Cleveland for seeing this anyway.
Yeah, great
Queen
move.
H7 goes down in history as one of the most bizarre moves ever played.
We were all just kind of in stunned silence for a little bit, trying to figure
Yeah.
out what happened.
And Black's King F8 shows that there is such a thing as mass hallucination.
Yeah. Wow, look at this. I'll be right back.
so yeah, now, okay, White charged ahead, but it's not working. I think you have to go knight back to e3. Otherwise, there's
Then
two
Queen
rooks and a
E4
bishop.
check, Nick.
What's that?
Queen E4 check.
Ouch! 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 Oh yeah, that's pretty deadly. So that
Maybe
means
pawn
that
to
the
B3.
knight can't move because of the f2.
How about pawn to B3?
And then if queen to b4.
Rook to B5? Oh, well.
Yeah, that would have been much better. Well, okay, here though, at least you have
At least you're surviving another move.
and your king is protected, their king is not.
And you have one pawn.
It's still going to be tricky. 2 minutes left. Now, is there a shot here? Oh, that black queen guards e8.
It's got to activate that rook, though. But how do you do it? With that f2.
Well, maybe pawn f4 is the best move to guard your king. Ooh, now white can do queen e4 check.
Black should have this in the bag.
Yeah, nice move. Okay.
Threatens Queen G3 check.
Yeah, and it's where can that queen go? D3. Can't go to D3 because of bishop F2 check. Now pawn A4 would win the game.
That rook's just stuck.
Oh, okay, hits the F2 pawn.
Little
Queen
bit
D3.
shaky, but Queen C2. Suppose Rook F2 would win there, but
Oh, this is at least a tricky move. Queen A3. Check. Yeah, do king to G2. I mean, black is winning with proper time, but they're
I know
short
what
on
he's
time.
hoping for, Abel. He's hoping for a queen f8 check. Mate.
Just got to get that rook out of the way.
yeah,
Oh, that's not a good move. Bishop G3 check. That's...
Yeah. Yep.
maybe Black will play Rook B5 here. Oh no, he didn't. He saw it.
Oh, but wait a minute. Is there going to be a fork? Oh, no.
Queen F6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to find it, Marina. I couldn't find it. Let's go to the
Wow.
two games still going, and it looks like Kalyn's gonna put an end to his game as well.
Kalyn gets a queen.
And Cleveland Lee is 2-0, huh?
Yeah, he got a bye in the first round, I think.
Oh, that's right. And it was an extra game.
Right, and won. So he's won 3 games this evening. 2 tournament games. He didn't play one of
Spectacular.
them, but then so good for Cleveland. Undefeated. The undefeated leader.
Shot in the arm.
Shoot, he might be playing Gadir.
Mate in 2, Nick. Queen F1 and Bishop C2. Oh, no, that's not mate in 2.
Queen D1 is mate in 1.
King
Oh, no, you're right.
King
Sorry.
E4, then Bishop C2. I'm thinking of Tony.
It's like it's impossible to find mate in 1s. You're looking for the 3 the 3 moves.
Tony had the nerve to come into the club and start showing mates in 4. That Nick and I have to try to figure out. That's ridiculous.
It's funny. It's funny he gives you that because when I'm there, he's like, "Hey, look at this mate in 2." He like dumbs it down for me. He talks to you guys. It's 4.
I can't even look at that stuff without having a seizure.
Hey, you want to hear something crazy today? So I'm at the camp with these kids, and for fun, I start showing them triple Lloyds. And
Showing them what?
triple Lloyd puzzles.
Oh, okay.
What's
And
that?
Lloyd.
Yeah, so it's a puzzle where like you only show like white pieces, and they have to find where you would place a king for it to be in checkmate, in stalemate, and mate in 1. So they got the hang of it quick, and then they got the hang of it quick. They were like solving these, and then they started composing some.
Oh, that's really cool.
And yeah, that was awesome. And they were like good puzzles. I took pictures of it. I said I'll put it in the newsletter. And
You never know what's going to stick.
yeah, they love the triple Lloyds.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they build a position of just pieces, one color or the other. Where do you put the king where it's in checkmate? Where do you put it where it's stalemate? And where do you
Right.
put it where it's mate in 1?
That's interesting. That's a teaching technique. I'd never thought of it.
Yeah, and then they started building them.
White should have played H5 and tried to get stalemated.
Good for Kalyn.
Yeah, Kalyn's another 2-0 player here.
Yeah,
Or
but
will be shortly.
provided there's no stalemate.
He's moving in for the kill.
And I just put the link to this tournament so you can get the updated standings and whatnot. That is it. That looked like a pre-move right there. Whatever they do, Queen G2. And that is a wrap for the round. And we should have the updated standings shortly. The link is in the Twitch chat, so in a few minutes you should be able to click on that and see the results after 2 rounds of the Thursday night marathon online at the Mechanics Institute. One more time, the Vladimir Pafnutiev Memorial 4-round USCF rated this Saturday, 1-day event. Game in 45 with 5-second delay. Space is available. Just click on that link in the chat or go to the mechanics page and check it out. Round times 10 a.m., 12:30, 2:30, and 4:30. Come and get your game on. And let's give a quick shout out to Judith Stare, our favorite TD. Takes care of everything there is to take care of. Up early in the wee hours of the morning. I hope she's been having her coffee, maybe even the second cup. The standings are posted, and let's pull it up ourselves and take a look. And actually, let me pull it up on here. There. There we go. And let me see what I need to adjust. Not too much. I'll just make it.
So how many perfect scores are there?
Let me take my camera off so you'll be able to see it. Actually, I just moved myself down to the side there. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 perfect scores thus far.
I picked Cleveland to win the tournament.
Look at these stats. I'm going to say it now because it may be one of the few times I'll get to. Here are the undefeated players after 2 rounds. Grandmaster Gadir Gusenov, International Master Balachandra Dulipala, National Master Mike Walder, Kalyn Melville, and Cleveland Lee, all with a score of 2.
Terrific.
And then 1.5, we got a few players. Ninkunch Oza, Jeff Anderson, Michael Xiao, and Sonny Liu, 1.5. And we think we may get a few more players join for next week. Take the bye for the first couple of rounds, and I mean it's 8 rounds, so there's still plenty of chess to play. And let's get some more. Let's see if we can find Max Gadajlovic. Maybe we can get him to join the tournament. And thanks a lot, guys, for another great event. Another start of a Thursday night marathon online.
Thank you, Abel.
Thank you, guys, and don't forget, come play with us this Saturday at Mechanics. If you can't make that, we will be back on Tuesday night for round 3 of the Tuesday night marathon. We look forward to that, and see you next week. And then next Thursday night, we'll bring you rounds 3 and 4 of the Thursday night marathon. I'll be in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, site of the U.S. Open. I was telling the guys maybe I'll broadcast from somewhere down in the venue, and maybe I can rope in some special guests to come on. We'll see. That could be fun. So, all right, everyone. Thanks for watching the broadcast, and we will see you soon. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Judith, and
Bye, you all.
see you again.